Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to Rags to Riches, Dennis here. So today I will be aiming to follow up an awesome win over Manchester City and a very disappointing defeat to Aston Villa with, hopefully, a good win over Stoke City. So, Stoke are not like the best team in the Premier League, but they are still a force to be reckoned with. Let me tell you why. As it turns out, Stoke managed to somehow purchase a couple of very good players. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but there's some pretty insane names in there that you wouldn't really expect Stoke to have. And where's Landrino? So they are more than you would expect them to be. And I'm hopeful of getting a good result, but not really confident of getting a good result. Especially if I keep my left striker and right striker in the wrong positions. But yeah, we'll see who they have in just a sec. Okay, there we go. So they have Bojan and Daniel Sturridge. Those are the players that I was talking about just now. Like, Bojan is an ex-Barcelona player, which has got to count for something. And he actually has pretty good stats in FIFA, if I remember correctly. Decent pace and insane dribbling. So yeah, he's someone that I'll have to screw around with. Sturridge, of course, ridiculously fast and like a decent striker. So it's going to be an interesting game. But you know, hopefully we'll be able to come out with something from it if it doesn't lag too badly. My screen's doing this weird thing. That was a really bad shot. But yeah, sitting not very pretty on 3 points right now. That's not exactly where I want to be, given how close that is to the relegation places. But still, 1 win from 2 in the Premier League is a really good start to have, so I'm not really going to complain about it. I just wish that I could have, you know, tied or beaten Aston Villa. But sadly, sadly, my player's mental strength did not seem to be high enough during that game, as we fell from 1-0 up to 2-1 down. That kind of play won't get me anywhere. Yeah, so just so you guys know, like I've been playing mostly with my Barcelona file again for the past few weeks, so if I try to attempt any like ridiculous dribbles or shots, don't mind. But if I make them, then double don't mind. And possibly even celebrate. Just like that. That play kind of like scarily reminded me of a lot of my Barca goals. Because for some reason, I mean, basically like my board sold Messi on my Barcelona file, which is probably the most unrealistic transfer I've ever encountered in manager mode, or career mode. I'm sorry, this is ridiculously laggy, and I'm going to pause it for a second. Alright, we're back. Hopefully there's a little bit less lag now. Yes, there is, of course. And I have no idea what I was talking about just now. Probably something to do with the unrealisticness of Messi transferring away from Barcelona. Why would you stop that run, number 20? Of Messi transferring away from Barcelona. But I realized that I made a mistake. The most unrealistic transfer I've ever seen was when I played a career mode with Real Madrid, and I bought Messi from Barcelona. That would absolutely never happen in real life. But still, so what I did was I bought Neymar to replace Messi. And, I mean, Neymar's, he's no Messi, I guess you would have to say, but he is his own mold of player. Wow, another cross. That was really good. But Neymar is a special player because, I mean, half the time he'll just be totally lazy and not really like do anything or move for the ball or anything of that nature, and then just like randomly you'll have him in the box, you'll do this like some kind of step over or cut back, and you'll just unleash this shot that should have no chance of making it in and fucking score a goal. And that's really what saves me against the small teams when there's like a like, let's say what's a smallish team, I don't know, Rayo. I remember I went 2 easy goals up through David Villa in the beginning of the game, and then their players just started like absolutely taking it to my half and scored a goal, and I conceded another goal after that, and at that point I think Neymar was like too tired to start the game, so what I decided to do, I just decided to go for broke, sub in Neymar. I subbed him in. He did absolutely nothing. Like 90 minutes, he just fucking scores a goal to win it for me, and it was like the most ridiculous goal ever. It was like his weak foot, you know, like on the edge of the box, and I'm just like, are you serious? This player is amazing. So he's no Messi, but he's pretty close. Especially his dribbling style. Oh man. The ease with which he beats a defender, even in this game, is just incredible. I try doing like the same cutbacks that I do with Neymar with, like, let's say David Villa or Pedro, and the defender just totally reads it and you know, cuts it out. And then I try doing the same thing with Neymar and just get past the defender, put on a burst of pace, and score a goal.
That has gone out of play with the deflection. Stoke City to take the throw.
So how about FIFA 13, guys? I've been like totally out of the loop with gaming news recently, and like yesterday I just sort of checked out a bunch of sources about new features and such in FIFA 13, and I have to say I'm really excited for the game. I saw a couple of comments that were like, this is just FIFA 10.3 or something like that, you know, referring to the fact that not much has changed since FIFA 10, but I totally disagree with that, because the way that they've put the spin that they've put on it is basically that everything will be reworked slightly, so that it'll still feel like the same game in a sense, but it'll feel a lot more authentic. Like, one of my major concerns was that when they first announced the attacking improvements, such as like tactical free kicks, you know, special kinds of runs, not just totally straight runs, but curved runs, diagonal runs, and stuff. I thought that it was just going to be a totally like offensive game. It would be complete goal fests every time you played someone online. But then they announced all this. Wow. Then they announced all this new defensive stuff, like the not defensive stuff, but all this new like realism stuff. Like, for example, the inconsistent first touch mechanism, where, you know, in the video they explain that even the best players in real life don't always take perfect touches, and that's totally true. And like I think that will kind of help counteract and balance a lot the fact that they're making attacking so much better and more realistic. They're also making it like a little bit like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, in a sense, they're buffing it and nerfing it at the same time. And I really respect that. And I hope that it works out perfectly, because it also has a chance to completely crash and burn, which would not be great. So, what's the score? I was kind of not paying attention. 3-0. 3-0 at the half. The only danger, of course, is that I'd totally take my foot off the gas in the second half and concede 3 goals somehow. Which I almost did in the Aston Villa game. Totally took my foot off the gas in the second half and conceded 2 goals. But I highly doubt that'll happen with Stoke here. So we'll see what happens. I might just substitute in a youth player or two. Or the opposite of a youth player. I'll substitute in Leandrinho. He happens to play center forward. And I'm not sure what... He's 5'7". Okay, that's kind of ridiculous. I'll sub him in for John Taylor a little bit later. How about that? I'm interested in seeing how well he performs.
And set your watches, off we go.
Okay, this half is not starting out too well. Putting it on a little bit defensive. Wow, that was terrible.
It's a goal kick. Well, this is the player whose agent has been telling us what's been going on.
Let's go.
The manager has been telling the player what's going on. What's going on is you're not playing, you're not involved, while this issue is still
nuts. Okay,
burning as
that's
it
all
is
good.
at the moment.
Well, it is player power, and managers are Not in such a strong position these days, but what he can do, what managers will always be able to do, is to drop players if they feel the need, and he's done exactly that.
Oh my goodness.
And it's in possession now, the ball again for Stoke City.
I'm used to having ridiculous amounts of overlap with Barcelona.
He hasn't dealt with the danger totally, and the ball
So that's why I'm making so many passes down the wing. Gautier. Oh, what a pass. There we go.
into his feet.
That was a really nice move. I'm not going to take any credit away from myself. I have no idea how the same team that lost to Aston Villa 2-1 like a week or two ago is absolutely kicking the shit out of Stoke. It's pretty insane. Their attack has been completely neutralized this whole game, and the points that I must sound like an idiot now because I was saying, you know, Daniel Sturridge is such a legit player, and who was the other player? That Boyan was going to be such a threat. I mean, apparently not, you know. I guess my defense has just been amazingly tightly organized, and now that I've switched to a defensive lineup, there hasn't been any way through for them.
Great passage of passing play there.
And Alar could have made it 5. This is huge for morale, though. I'm not going to lie.
An amazing start to a match that we expected to be so levelly contested, really. And here we have one.
Now, on the plus side, the commentators just said that they expected this match to be heavily, evenly contested. Which means that they do put us on a par with the likes of Stoke, who are, I think, considered mid-table teams, or who are considered a mid-table team in the Premier League, which means that there is a decent chance that the Shrews will survive this season. And when I say a decent chance that the Shrews will survive this season, like, you have to bear in mind that although this 5-0 mauling of Stoke looks really good, and when I say 5-0, I mean 4-0, although it looks really good, you have to remember that in the Premier League last season, Fulham beat QPR, I think, 6-0 in the beginning of the season, and then ended up finishing in a pretty disappointing mid-table position. So I just want to say that, you know, form is totally temporary, and while it may look like we're about to go and conquer the Premier League a little bit, it's more likely that we'll lose the next game because this manager mode thing is fucking ridiculous. With its fickleness, I guess I would have to say. I've noticed that so often I'll have an amazing game, an amazing result, and then I'll just go out and play an absolutely shitty game next week, and I'll just be like, what the hell happened? All of my players' form will go down to next to 0.
Work a wide position here until the tackle came in. What a chance! Ah, it's a great diving save.
It's close, no Kovas. Alright, so yeah, this is what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to put in Isak Cuenca there and Leandrinho here, and that makes basically no sense, but I'm 4-0 up, so I don't give a shit. And I will substitute in Griffiths for about Shinny. I mean, at this point, I'm just kind of fucking around with Stoke. There's absolutely no way that they'll come back from 4-0 down. Especially with that kind of passing. That's just ridiculous. That's what FIFA needs to fix. I mean, right now, what it seems like is that the AI is essentially just different AI levels are just essentially teams with different stats on their players. So amateur Barcelona will just be Barcelona with -10 overall on every single player's stats. And legendary Barcelona will just be Barcelona with +10 overall on every single player. what FIFA needs to fix, like, while it may not be true, it certainly seems like that. And I think what needs to be fixed for FIFA 13 or 14 is making the AI, different AI levels, seem legitimately different. Like, making the professional AI actually play like a professional team, making the world-class AI actually play like Spain, you know, for example, like a really world-beating team, and making the legendary AI play like Brazil in 1970 or something like that, you know? And that kind of brings me back to, well, I'm not going to get started on this because the game is almost over.
There goes the final whistle.
But I was going to talk about the argument of which national team is the best of all time. I guess I'll have to save that for next episode. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous result. Novi Kovas picks up man of the match and a 9.60 match rating. And we are in third fucking place. Don't take anything away from Shrewsbury. This season could be our season. We could be gunning for Europe right now. That is absolutely incredible. This looks like a youth player that I signed. 2-star skills. I'm probably gonna chuck him. I don't like my wingers to have only 2-star skills. Yeah, so I've got this game against MK Dons in the League Cup, which should be fairly easy. But yeah, that's all for today.